Hey guys, so we got a special treat for you today. I have my very talented roommate, Lily Tran, with me. And we kind of wanted to talk about, choosing a career and figure out what you want to do with your life. As most of you probably know, I quit my job in banking and became a rideshare driver to kind of pay the bills, to kind of figure out what I wanted to do. And I probably wouldn't have been able to do it if it wasn't for my roommates, Mark, her boyfriend, and Lily. I mean, they're both.
Whoa.
No, it's true.
You actually did it all on your own.
Well, no, it's true, but you guys normalized it for me. I mean, for me, like, all I knew was corporate. Like, all my friends, worked in corporate.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought it's just like you just find different, different variations, like a different company that might have more interest with you or a different culture, but at the end of the day it's a corporation,
Yeah.
where you're a salaried employee and you don't have much autonomy. And I know that you guys normalize it because Mark was in freelance. You're freelancing right now.
And doing music.
Yes,
My
doing music. Yeah, just FYI. So Mark, my other roommate, he's a freelance photographer, and he does he designs websites and whatnot. And Lily, you're currently working on an album.
Well, working on an EP.
Uh-huh.
It's so crazy because I never thought in a million years I would be learning how to produce, and it's been awesome just because it's like when you've wanted to do this for so long. And you've always kind of been afraid and watching other people do it.
Yeah, you're standing on the sidelines.
Yeah,
you're
you're standing on the sidelines.
You're finally in the game, right?
And then I'm actually like learning right now, and I want to do more with it, But of course it takes time, and sometimes you get impatient.
Yeah, definitely. Success doesn't come overnight.
Yeah.
But we came similar paths because at the time we were both, a few months ago, we were both working in corporate, and we were both very unhappy. Even though we were making decent money.
Good money, yeah. Well,
so what do you think that is?
Well, I have a when you go through something that let's put it this way. It takes time to figure out what you really want to do. It took me. I mean, I've always known I wanted to do music. That's kind of like, I remember it was like a dream since I saw my mom on stage when I was like 3,
Oh, wow. I know that.
And that was kind of like an inspiring moment for me to be like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. My mom's on stage playing a guitar and singing. And that was when I kind of like felt like I wanted to do that. And of course, it just kind of reassured me over the years. And of course I had, the traditional Asian parents where they're like, oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. And,
doctor, lawyer, engineer, or accountant.
Which, well, at first my mom wanted me to go into pharmaceutical. And I was like, she was trying to bribe me with like the pay.
Yeah,
that,
6 figures.
Yeah, 6 figures once you graduate. And that was like the magic golden numbers, right?
6 figures, which is not that much in the Bay Area.
No, yeah, but that was kind of like, at first I was like, oh my gosh, that's such great money, and I could do so much with that. And then it took some time, to realize, like, what, hey, that isn't me. That isn't going to make me happy. And I think part of it was thinking about it long term. And
Like, you didn't want to work in a Walmart every day of your life?
No, of course not working.
Sounds pretty awesome to me.
Yeah, totally, right? No, I feel like when you go down the path of trying something out, who knows? You will never. It's hard to figure out or to know what you want to do in life until you walk down that path.
Yeah. So you don't know what you like to try. I mean, so basically, basically it's this. I mean, like, you can like sit in your cubicle or sit in your desk and run through like all these scenarios in your head of what you think you might like.
Yeah.
Right? But then the only way that you're going to figure it out is to try different things.
Yeah.
But for me, I think that the difficulty with, your job and your career is you need it to survive. You need it to make money.
Of course, you gotta make money, you gotta survive, you gotta pay your bills.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, that's what makes it hard. So that's why I think, being a freelancer, having a skill, or, joining the sharing economy, becoming an Uber, Lyft driver, or Airbnb or whatever, that can, hold you over and, pay the bills until
Yeah.
you figure out, or until you figure out what you want to do, or give you the opportunity to try different things. So I think that, we're at a cusp of kind of like a revolution in work, where, anybody can, turn on their phone and become an Uber or a Lyft
Totally.
driver, or become a TaskRabbit, or
Totally.
rent out their extra room and make money, or, do freelance stuff, photography,
Yeah.
wedding planning, or
Which a lot of people have,
make careers out of.
made careers
Yeah.
out of, and have definitely taken that step.
Yeah. So basically, the excuse that I need the money doesn't really fly anymore. Well, it's not. It doesn't fly, but then there are options to where, like, you don't have to move back with your parents, or
Yeah.
go into debt.
The thing is, a lot of times we create these excuses for ourselves. Like, oh, I'm too busy. I have to take care of this before I do this, and
Yeah.
you end up procrastinating. And that's actually what I did with my music. Like, now that I've gotten to like learn how to make music, I'm like, dude, I could have done this like years ago.
Yeah, why-
I would have
whatever.
gotten a head start on it. But the thing was, I procrastinated because I let all of these thinking or procrastination like hold me back. Really, like to me, making music was like difficult because you have to know chords, you have to know how to play the piano, you have to know how to use these technology nowadays, and it's scary when you think about it like that. But the moment you just dive in, it's kind of like it becomes a natural thing.
Yeah, you just you're just in the moment,
Yeah.
just self-actualized, and you're not thinking. I mean, to me, that's how I think that's how what you're doing is what you're really supposed to do. You lose track of time and you just get lost in it.
Yeah, that's when you're like you're really having a great
Yeah.
time.
Yes.
Because it's kind of like if you're at work and you sit there all day and you feel like that, like you feel like you can keep going.
Yeah.
Then hey,
Yeah.
you're doing what you love, and I think that's great, and I believe I see that life is too short,
Yeah.
and that saying is really true because, dude, since I turned like 25, every day has been like passing by so freaking fast, and
Yeah.
it feels like.
And then when you're in corporate, it passes by even quicker.
Oh, totally,
right?
and you want it. The crazy thing is, you want it to pass by quicker
because it's so painful,
because it's painful to go there.
and you just can't wait for the weekend, right?
Yeah.
Like for me, I can't wait for Mondays because like that's when I get to work on my blog or my videos or something
Yeah.
like that. And, yeah, I'm excited, and I just got my car back, and I can't wait to start driving again.
Look at you.
Like it's amazing. Like I think it's like love. Like
Yeah.
you think you've been in love until you really fall in love. You're like, whoa! Like I didn't even know this level existed.
Yeah.
And I
totally.
think that's with finding passion in your work. Like everybody thinks that work is just something that you just bear and you
Yeah.
accept, and it just sucks and you just deal with it. But what I found is that no, that's bullshit. I mean, there are things out there that can make money, and can speak to you, and like it can you can burn with fiery passion all the time.
Yeah.
And with that, you don't even think about money. You just create great stuff, and you'll get paid. So
Yeah, and I like the other thing is like I had this experience of working in the corporate, and I'm very grateful of that. I feel like I've definitely learned so much, but if it wasn't for me to go down that path, I wouldn't have known what I really wanted to do. You know?
yeah.
And honestly, even for yourself, like I've noticed you growing so much. Like a year ago, you were this person, that I almost felt like a sense of like you were going through depressed times.
I was.
And there was just it felt like you weren't present. It felt like you were lost. But now it's just like, dude, you're taking action and you're motivated to like go and do these projects, and and I'm so like I gotta say I'm so proud of you just because like I know you've transformed, and it's just such a rewarding feeling to know that my roommates are growing, because that's originally what we wanted as a household, and you're pursuing things even if you know that you're not going to be making like a whole lot of money like you did before, but at least you're happy.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a huge and important thing is
And I think
being
like
happy.
truly happy people are more rare than rich people. So
It's true.
it's what your definition of success is.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I mean, just to kind of just like summarize. It's just basically, you don't have an excuse because there's other ways to make money. Also, saving money is very important.
Yes, saving is very important.
And you won't know until you try it. So
Yes.
there's no downside to trying new things. Either you try it out and it works out and you find something you love, or you try it and it doesn't work and you say, all right, that didn't work. I tried it.
Yeah.
You don't think about it. You move on.
Exactly, and that's when you know for sure. Like, for example, Vincent. He's in LA right now. Vincent's my brother.
Yeah.
I'm sure you remember. He had wanted to move out to LA for some time now, and a lot of times he was holding back because of the fear of, like, can I do this? Can I make it? Can I pursue acting when the acting industry is such a white or Caucasian dominant industry.
Yep.
And of course, a lot of that thinking held him back from moving to
And
LA.
like, I see a lot of talent in him.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I see there's a lot of people that I see a lot of talent, but then their perception of themselves is that they're not talented.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of believing in oneself in order to do it.
And encouragement from friends.
And encouragement from friends and family. And sometimes, friends and family might not be encouraging.
Yeah.
But you have to believe in what you want to do.
And you have to find the right people.
And yes, and
that
you just have to know what makes you happy. And I think that's kind of like the guideline for me. Like, if I do something and I'm not happy, I know that, not when I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated because I'm trying to figure a way to make it work. But if I'm not happy and I'm not fulfilled, then it's not the right path you're walking down on, or I'm walking down on, or,
Yeah, you have one life. Fight for it. Don't just give up. So yeah. So hopefully you guys got some value out of our talk, and feel free to comment or give us feedback. And appreciate it.
Peace.
Bye.